Hi, do you have an onboarding process in your business? Are you nurturing your clients as they begin that journey of working with you? Or do you just leave them to their own devices once that deposit has been paid? Welcome to my channel. My name is Bernadette and I am your business coach for the wedding and creative business sector. Today, I'm talking to you about onboarding your clients, starting that customer experience so that they can enjoy working with you. As always, there is a blog article to accompany this video. Just check down below for the link and don't forget to comment and subscribe. So we spend much of our time attracting new clients, serving clients, that we forget how to nurture them. Almost as if once they're confirmed, we just don't have to try anymore. Whereas I feel that if we want the process of working with us to be enjoyable, we need to take them on a journey. After all, if they feel encouraged by working with you, they will continue working with us enthusiastically instead of beginning to doubt you're the right person and feeling regret over signing that contract. They will work with us again in the future. I have had so many repeat clients throughout my years, from when I was a wedding planner to when I ran the membership organisation for the wedding industry here in the UK, or indeed my consultancy side. If you create an enjoyable process of working with you, they will come back. And thirdly, if they enjoy working with you, they'll refer you to others as well. So one way we can encourage these three things to happen is to have a smooth onboarding process. Put yourselves in new clients' shoes. They've agreed to work with you and they eagerly await the next steps. An invoice and contract is sent over, which they sign and they pay, but then silence. They're not too sure what happens next. After all, it's obvious to you, but it's not to somebody that's just entering your world. Do they wait for you to contact them? Should they contact you? Are you waiting for them to send you something? They're literally left in the dark and they're not too sure what to do next. They begin to second guess their decision to actually work with you. And they might even start micromanaging because the trust is beginning to diminish. So one of the things that you can do is to create a process for onboarding. So why even bother doing this? First impressions count. We know this. This is the start of your relationship leading to their wedding or their service completion. It sets the tone of what the service is going to be like, smooth and painless, or frankly, a hot mess. It also enables you to set those boundaries with clients from the outset. And this is so important. I cannot emphasize how important. If I ever received a complaint at my membership organisation about a wedding planner or a supplier, it was inevitably because boundaries had not been explained and also the service parameters had not been explained properly. So during the onboarding process, make sure it's crystal clear what it is you will and will not do, what you expect from them, and what you will be doing in return. So some of the things to think about is your working hours, what are non-negotiables, being talked down to, um, talking to clients maybe at night. I would never have any disrespect, and in my contracts, I would say that I can cancel the contract if I deem behaviour from my clients to be disruptive and rude. You're well within your rights to do that. So set those boundaries from the outset. And also set your expectations. So if you are sending them information, you need to have a response within such and such time. This also ensures that nothing slips through the gaps. So if you are crystal clear about what the service is, what it includes, what your expectations are, what your boundaries are, if it's all done at the start, nothing is going to slip through the gap. Every customer is going to be experiencing the same onboarding process. It's a repeatable process, even if elements of it are going to be tailored to each client, of course, because you may have a number of different services. So even though you are tailoring it, it is still a repeatable process, which ensures that every client is going through that journey with you, regardless of what amount they are spending with you. It is ensuring that you have that continuity, that there is a level of service that every single client is going to receive. Having part of this automated ensures that you can spend more time serving your clients and bringing in new clients so that you can scale and grow your business. There can come a point in your business where you can't do it all. And I think by being able to automate some of our onboarding systems with emails and templates and things like that, it is enabling them to still be looked after, to still feel, cherished by you, but it's freeing up your time so that you can begin to grow your business. And that is so important. So having a structure keeps the energy high. It keeps them enthusiastic about working with you, allowing no regrets to be entering into their mind. It can also reduce any overwhelm, and it reduces clients asking repetitive questions. More on this in a second. So what could onboarding look like? This is obviously different from client to client. And normally when I'm working with my consultancy clients, this is something that we create together. So we tailor that onboarding so that it fits right to them, fits with the sector that they're in, and it's using any of the tech that they have on board already. But if we were going to create something for you, what could it include? So it could be that a proposal is sent, and then if they're accepting that, they're able just to click and sign. This could trigger an invoice that is then sent to them automatically. Once that has been done, an email will be sent welcoming them into your world and explaining how the service will proceed. And obviously, this is going to be different depending on the sector that you're in. There could be a link to a client portal, whether something like Owl Planner, FEA Create, Kajabi, or even just as simple as a Google Drive. Nothing wrong with that. I'm also a lover of scheduled emails throughout that journey, answering common questions before the clients actually ask them. And this is one of the things that I recommend you do in your marketing anyway, to be attracting those new clients. But you go a little bit of a step further when you're doing this with the clients that have already booked you. So let's break that down a little, shall we? So first of all, what you want to be doing is welcoming them to your world. So we are assuming that they have paid the deposit, signed the contract. We now want to keep that high energy going. We don't want to be ghosting them and leaving them unsure what's going to be happening next. So things to think about in that initial email. And you will have this as a template. So this is where I recommend, if you haven't done so already, having an email system like MailerLite, like FEA Create, something like that, that allows you to be a little bit more professional, shall we say, as opposed to just sending it from your Outlook. Of course, you will be sending just your regular emails from whichever mailbox that you use. But what I mean is when you're creating workflows and processes as part of your roadmap, it makes more sense to do it as a within a system like MailerLite, as an example. I just use that as an example because you can do it for free. So we all like that, don't we? So what days of the week do you work? What days will you be working on their project or wedding? So when I was a wedding planner, what I used to do is dedicate specific days to specific clients. That enabled me to go deep into their wedding on a particular day, as opposed to flitting from one client to the next. It just allowed me to have a structure to my day, but that's just personal choice. What are your working hours? Perhaps you've got young children and you need to finish work at 3 o'clock, as an example. Maybe you have a policy in the home that you won't take any calls at night because that's family time. Perhaps you need to avoid things like dinner time. Whatever it is, this is where you're telling them what you expect. And actually, when you do it from the outset, they will respect that. Again, when I was a wedding planner, I used to take one day off in the week, and my clients knew that. So they'd send me a message, I know you're not working today. When you're back in the office, da 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 da. If you set the expectations from the start, then they will follow. It's when you're unclear, when they're second guessing and they're not too sure what you're doing, that's where the confusion comes. So what days do you work? What days or what days will you be working on their project or their wedding? What are your working hours? What is your policy for out of office communication? Will any messages be responded to the next day? And what is your policy for telephone calls, Zoom calls, meetings? What does the service actually include? So what is that going to look like? For example, in my consultancy contract, I now have it noted that I will not accept a meeting if they are in bed or in the car. I will end the call. And I put this in because I've had situations in the past where clients are talking to me and they're in bed or they are driving, and it's, for a start, it's unsafe. And secondly, they're not concentrating. I need them to be fully invested in what we are discussing. So that's in my contract now. But perhaps there's something that you want to put in the contract. Perhaps if you work in the wedding industry and you have in-person meetings, I know wedding planners in the past that have it in their contract where any refreshments during meetings need to be paid for by the client. So what is that going to look like for you? Have a link to your calendar. So if they want to book a call, they can do so. Here's the link that they can do it, as opposed to them just calling you. Have details, and if you prefer WhatsApp or Voxer voice notes. With my consultancy clients, I use Voxer. When I was a wedding planner, I used WhatsApp, and we'd have one for my clients, and they'd be sending me little messages and pictures. Invite them to come and join you on social media, your mailing list. Maybe you've got a Facebook group, anything like that. So you're basically welcoming them to your world. The next thing is you want to be explaining the roadmap. So you're going to do this in a separate email, because otherwise it ends up just being too long. So the first email is just going through all those practicalities that you need to tell them about. And then you'll have another one the next day, a couple of days later. You'll create a little workflow, and this will explain the roadmap to them. So I like to tell clients what they can expect. So, you're going to get so many meetings. I've pre-scheduled them. Here's the links to them. Or, if you work in the wedding industry, when do they have contact with you? When are the meetings going to take place? What will you be doing? What are you working on next? Is it something that you're working on now? Or does the service not actually start until, so long before a wedding or so long before the actual project? Let's say you're an interior designer. So perhaps that means that you are creating the mood boards now. So you'll send the mood boards to them within 2 weeks. And maybe they've scheduled time to actually implement the interior design on X date. What does that look like for you? So what's the roadmap from the minute they have hired you to the completion of the service? What are those steps that are involved? What are you doing? What are you expecting them to do? What are your obligations? What are their obligations? Because it's a two-way street. So recap on what is included in the service they've booked with you, along with optional chargeable extras. I cannot emphasize this enough, because if you are not crystal clear what is included in the service, they don't necessarily know, and they will assume that you can do X, Y, Z for them. Whereas if you've got it clearly stated, this is what's included, I can also do this is what I charge for it, then they have more clarity. So just having everything very crystal clear from the outset will ensure a much smoother process. So is there a client portal that they have access to, or are you just using Google Drive? Whatever your method of sharing information with them, include the details in this, let's call it roadmap email. Now, this may feel like a lot, but you want your clients to feel reassured by your professionalism and your organization. So by doing this from the outset, they're like, okay, this is what I can expect. I know what's going to happen. And it just reassures them. The next thing you want to do, and I actually suggest you do this with your marketing anyway, but in terms of the workflows that you are setting up, you're going to be preempting their questions. So one of the suggestions is to think about what questions that your clients might have and how can you answer them. And secondly, preempting questions before they think about them reassures them that you're the right person for them. So what do I mean by this? So you know how sometimes when you're working with a client, they will quite often just come up with the same questions, and you're like, I've answered this before for such and such client, or "Oh, it's on my website. Why can't they see it on my website? Or it was in the proposal. Why don't they see it in the proposal?" So having some kind of system in place where you are preempting those questions can make a big difference. Now, for wedding clients, this could be that you have certain templated emails that get sent to clients 6 months before their wedding, 4 months before their wedding, a month before the wedding, certain things that go along with the timeline of questions that you know that they're going to be asking. So you're preempting, you're answering it. Want to know what the speech guidelines are? Here they are. Confused about how to create I know a timeline? Here it is. So just preempting any kind of confusion they may have as you go towards the wedding day. If you work elsewhere, if you're not in the wedding sector, perhaps you're in the creative industry, you're an artist, you're a cake maker. Again, think about those questions that your clients ask. How many servings do I get? How do I keep it fresh? Can I put it in the fridge? Does it need to stay out? I've got a naked cake. Can that stay outside? And how long? All these questions that they may have. Now, you've probably already answered these questions on your website. You probably already have a blog post about it. But what you want to do is make it easy for your clients so they don't have to go hunting for that information. You also don't want them to feel like they are bothering you. So if you are giving the answers to those questions before they're asking them, they'll just think that you're some magical being that can read their mind. Now, there are a number of ways that you can do this. So you want to, again, be creating some kind of repeatable template or automated process. This will be tweaked depending on the sector you're in and depending on the service and the particular client. And as you begin to scale your business, this, of course, can be handed down to any assistant. So what you want to do is think about the top 10 common questions from clients that you often get asked. Even if you've answered it elsewhere, such as what are those top 10 questions? And then I want you to create automated emails that you send to clients at a particular point of working with you. And this could be a link to a blog article. This could be literally just copying the blog article into an email and sending it to them. It could be that you've created a PDF guide and that you send that to them. Perhaps you've got an FAQ section on your website. So again, you could be linking it to that as well. Or you might just be downloading something onto their client portal that again reassures them that, oh, okay, this is where I can find the answer to this. If you can answer the questions before they are asked, clients will love you. And that is like the little secret sauce. Being able to do that, not just in your onboarding, but actually this will help you with your marketing as well. It is being able to understand what those questions are that your clients have. And then lastly, what you want to do is excite them from the start. So what we've talked about is very much processes and templates and automation, which I know for many of you are like, oh, that's really boring. It may be boring, but it's actually really essential to start that journey together. You will thank me later. So what do I mean by exciting them from the start? So little touches, I've always done this, little touches to make them feel special and wanted as a client. So this could be a little handwritten note, maybe branded little notelets. It could be sending them a small gift. Depend on the value or depend on the service they put with you. It could be something that brings joy and reinforces that you are the right person, not just because your onboarding process was incredibly smooth, but also because you appreciate their business and value them as a client. Nobody wants to feel like they are one of many. They want to feel special. So this doesn't have to cost you a lot of money. It can just be as simple as sending a little hand note saying, I'm looking forward to working with you. Thank you for choosing me. But also maybe you've got some additional resources that can help them. Maybe you've got templates and things like that that you normally sell. Could they be given to your client for free? Now, obviously, you would have taken that into consideration when pricing the service, but anything that you're gifting them will make them feel special. Now, don't forget, we have discussed offboarding before. So if you haven't watched that video yet, go and check that out because that's how we continue the journey with them, that we end the service as strong as we have started the service. So thank you for watching. I hope this has been really helpful for you. Let me know, what do you include in your onboarding process when you are welcoming a new client into your world? As always, don't forget to comment and subscribe and let me know what you think of onboarding and which bit that you're going to start implementing into your process. Until next time, bye.